Hello students, welcome to my channel. I am Hashim Ali Khan here. Presently we are doing the problems on the subject cost accounting and the topic is labor. So many videos I have prepared on solving the problems and also the first video on the introduction theoretical part of the chapter labor. So if you are regularly watching my videos already, you might have got a good grasp on the topic of labor. We have solved so many problems. I have explained the problems in detail. So if you have not watched the earlier problems, please go back to the earlier problem. Then only you can be able to understand this video. All of a sudden, if you join in the middle, or if you skip the video in between, you cannot be able to get the complete knowledge. So apart from this, I have uploaded a number of other subjects videos in my playlist. So if you are new to my channel, go to the playlist, select your concerned subject. I have uploaded so many knowledgeable videos so that you can be able to increase your knowledge. So before starting the next problem, that is problem number 12, I expect my viewers to have a hard copy of all the problems which I have provided in the link under my description. So go to the description, last line you will find the link, get a copy and keep it ready before watching the problems, before starting the problems. Now I am starting the problem number 12. See the problem number 12. Flame and Company close its books every half year. Every 6 months the company closes the books. For the half year ended 30th June 2013, the following particulars were obtained from the company's books. So data is collected for half year, 6 months. Basic wages 25,200, basic wages paid to workers. Then DA 21,600, night shift allowance 4,800, overtime OT allowance 3,500, PF deposited for the period 5,850. Provident fund deposited for the period means 6 months. The employer has deposited in the PF authority how much? 5,850. But this 5,850 belongs to both. In this 5,850, some share belongs to employer's contribution and some share belongs to employee's contribution. That we have to remember. An employee's state insurance contribution for the period 1404. The employer has deposited the amount with PF contribution and also employer has deposited the amount with ESI, state insurance. Then recovery towards house rent 5,100. The house rent has to be recovered from the employees, so it will be deducted from salary. Suppose the employer has given the quarters or rent-free houses to the employees, the rent will be deducted from the salary. So this will be deducted from the gross wages. And recovery towards supply of provision, this again will be deducted. Recovery of the amount of provision supplied by the employer. Expenditure incurred in respect of amenities to staff. Amenities means fringe benefits, non-monetary benefits given to the employees. This will be taken in the calculation of labor cost. Because this is not the amount paid in cash to the employees, it's the benefit, non-cash benefit given by the employer to the employees. So it will come under labor cost. And provident fund is paid by the employer and employee in equal shares. The amount deposited in provident fund is 5,850. Total amount deposited in PF. So it says half amount is the employer's contribution and remaining half is the employee's contribution. We'll make 50-50. Then provident fund is paid by employer and employee in equal shares. The ratio of contribution by employer and employee in ESI is 7:5. The total amount deposited with ESI is 1,404. Now it is saying the contribution of employer and employee is in the ratio of 7:5. 7/12 is employer's share and 5/12 is the employee's share. Assuming that all items were evenly spread over 6 months during the period, amount paid in cash to determine the amount paid in cash to the employees and the labor cost incidence for employer per month. So two different questions are asked in the problem. The first question is regarding how much is the amount of wages paid in cash to the workers, to the employees. The wages paid in cash we have to calculate first. Second question we have to calculate what is the labor cost incidence per month. What is the labor cost incidence per month? So these two concepts are entirely different. Amount of payment in cash required for wages and the total labor cost, right? While calculating the amount payable in cash to the workers, we take the gross wages. From gross wages, we make the deductions. Whereas in case of labor cost calculation, we take all expenditure incurred by the employer, whether in cash or non-cash. Right? Now first you see, calculation of wages paid in cash. So during the 6-month period, how much is the amount of wages payable in cash? Basic wages 25,200 directly we have taken. Dearness allowance 21,600, night shift allowance 4,800, overtime allowance 3,500. The gross wages comes to 55,100. These are the gross wages. From gross wages we make the deductions. Employer will deduct some amount from the salary, from the wages of the workers. On what account the employer will deduct? Contribution. Employees' contribution to PF. Employees' contribution to Provident Fund. The total amount deposited by employer with PF authority is 5,850. But in this 5,850, half amount is employer's contribution and half amount is employees' contribution. So half of 5,850, 2,925 will be deducted. Then employees' contribution to ESI. Total amount deposited with ESI authorities is 1,404, and it is given that the ratio of employer to employee contribution is 7:5. The ratio is 7:5. Employer to employee. That means first one is employer, where it is saying 7:5. 7 part is of employer, 5 part is of employee. So 5 by 12, 1,404 into 5 by 12 is the share of employee. So employees contribution to ASI 1,404 into 5 by 12, 585. Recovery towards house rent. Some amount has to be deducted from the wages and salaries of the employees on account of house rent. So deduction on account of house rent 5,100. Recovery towards supply of provisions. Some provisions are also supplied by the employer to the employee. For the supply of provisions, deduction has to be made from salary and wages. How much? 8,400. The total deductions required from wages and salaries are 17,010. The gross salary and wages of the employees are 55,100. From gross wages, deductions are made from wages and salaries. How much? 17,100. The net amount paid in cash to the workers. Net amount paid in cash to the workers is 38,090. The first part of the problem completed. The second part of the problem, it is asking you what is the labor cost per month, labor cost incidence to the employer per month. So calculation of labor cost per month. Direct basic wages. Basic wages are 25,200, same thing. Dearness allowance 21,600, night shift allowance 4,800, overtime allowance 3,500. Same thing, whatever we have taken in calculation of wages payable in cash, the same thing we are taking in labor cost. Now, employer's contribution to Provident Fund. Employer is contributing some amount to the Provident Fund of the workers. How much? Half of 5,850. 5,850 ka half, 2,925. This is the amount which is paid by the employer from their own pocket in the PF. Similarly, employees' contribution to ESI. The total amount deposited in ESI is 1,404, out of which the employer's contribution is 7 by 12. Employees' contribution is 5 by 12. Already 5 by 12 we have taken. Employees' contribution. Employer's contribution is 7 by 12, 819. Expenditure incurred in respect of amenities to staff. Amenities का मतलब होता है fringe benefits, non-cash benefits incurred on account of workers and labor. That is 3,440. The total of the labor cost for 6 months 62,284. These are all the payments for 6-month period. Now, labor cost per month. It is asking you what is the labor cost payment per month. So this is the total for 6 months. So divide by 6, you will get per month 10,380.67. This is the labor cost per month. So this is the end of problem number 12. Now see the problem number 13. 13th problem I am reading out. From the following particulars, find the amount of cash required for wages in a factory for a particular month. how much cash requirement for payment of wages for a particular month. Now, wages for normal hours work 20,600. These are the wages payable for normal hours worked. And wages for OT, overtime, 2,200. Leave wages, 1,700. These are the payment made. Deduction of employees' share to ESI contribution, 500. We have to deduct from wages. Gross wages में से deductions करना है for employees' contribution to ESI. Employees' contribution to PF, 1,600. This also will deduct from gross wages. House rent to be recovered for 30 employees at 10 rupees per month. So 30 into 10, 300 rupees should be deducted for recovery of rent, house rent. That's all. It's very easy. This problem is comparatively very easy compared to the previous one. Now here, statement of requirement of cash for paying wages for a month. It's a statement determining the requirement of cash for wages. Now, wages for normal hours work 20,600. Wages for overtime work 2,200. Leave wages 1,700. So total wages comes to 24,500 gross wages. From gross wages, we make the deductions. So deductions are employees' share of ESI contribution 500 given, employees' contribution to Provident Fund. Provident Fund is 1,600. HRA to be house rent to be recovered, not HRA, house rent to be recovered from employees. That is 30 rupees into 30 into 10, 300. So total is 2,400. After making the deduction, the net amount of cash required for payment of wages is 22,100. This is the cash required for payment of wages, 22,100. This is a very small problem, 13th problem. So we have completed totally 13 problems. See the 14th problem. A worker is paid rupees 400 per month in addition to DA of rupees 100 per month. The worker is paid 400 rupees wages per month and DA 100. He is entitled to a bonus of 10% on wages. So every month 10% bonus. Employer's contribution is 10% of wages towards contributory provident fund, to which worker also contributes an equal amount. So every month employer will contribute 10% of wages towards contribution of employer, and employee will also contribute the same percentage. The contribution for ESI is 1% for employer and 0.5% for worker. The employer maintains a canteen where subsidized tea and lunch are provided to workers, and a monthly subsidy of 5,000 is provided to the canteen. The total number of employees who take advantage of the canteen is 250 rupees. So monthly 5,000 rupees are the amount spent by the employer on canteen. So monthly 5,000 means 5,000 into 12. 60,000 rupees is the total expenditure on canteen incurred by the employer. But how many people will take the advantage? 250 workers are taking the advantage from this canteen. So 60,000 divided by 250 will get per worker how much advantage, how much amenity benefit the worker is taking. The total number of employees who take advantage of the canteen is 250. Normal idle time are 10%. Normal idle time will be deducted from total time, because normal idle time the worker will not work. Then the worker is entitled to earn leave on full pay for 15 days during the year. During the whole year, 15 days the worker can avail the leave with full pay. That means payment will be made, but the worker will not come to office because he is on full pay, leave on with full pay. Then the number of working days in a year should be taken as 300 of 8 hours each. So we can take year consists of 300 working days and each day 8 hours. So 300 into 8, 2,400 hours totally in a year. From 2,400 we deduct the leave days, leave hours. We'll get the total number of hours. From that we deduct the normal idle time of 10% to get effective number of hours in a year. Find out the labor cost per hour. Ultimately we have to find out what is the labor cost per hour, right? Come on. First we calculate what is the labor cost per annum. For 1 year, how much is the labor cost? See here, when we are calculating labor cost, we add up all the expenditure incurred by employer on employee, whether in cash or non-cash. We will not make any deductions. Deductions will be made when we are required to calculate the cash amount to be paid to workers. There are two types of problems. First type of problem where we are required to calculate the cash required for making the payment to workers. In that case, we deduct the deductions. Lekin when we are required to calculate the labor cost, we will not make any deductions. We add up all the expenditure incurred by the employer. Now, calculation of labor cost per annum per hour. So first we calculate per annum. So normal wages 400 rupees per worker is paid per month. Per month 400 we need per annum. So multiply 400 into 12, 4,800. Then dearness allowance will be paid 100 rupees per month. Now we multiply by 12 to get per annum 1200. Bonus is 10% of wages. 10% of wages. How much are the wages for the year? 4,800. So 10% of 4,800, 480 rupees is the wages per annum, bonus per annum. Similarly, employer's contribution to provident fund. It is given in the problem 10% will be amount deposited by employer in the PF of the employee. So 10% of 4,800 is 480 rupees. Employer's contribution to ESI. The employer is also making some contribution to ESI. That is 1% of the total wages. So 1% of 4,848 rupees. Now subsidized tea and lunch. 5,000 rupees per month. So 5,000 per month into 12, 60,000 rupees per annum. But how many workers are taking the advantage from this subsidized food? 250. But we require only for one person. These are all the wages we are taking for one single worker. So we have to take how much subsidized tea and lunch for one worker. That's why we are taking 1 by 250. So per worker, how much is the subsidized tea and lunch? 240 rupees per annum. Per worker per annum, 240 rupees. Now the total labor cost per annum comes to 7,248. So 7,248 is the total labor cost per worker. Per worker per annum. Now ultimately we have to find out what is the labor cost per hour. Per hour we have to calculate. So here you can see number of working hours per annum 300 days in a year and per day 8 hours. So 300 into 8, 2,400 hours per annum. Out of which 15 days is leave with full pay. 15 days are leave with full pay. That means payment will be made, but the worker will not come to office. He will be on leave. So that will be deducted. So 15 days into 8 hours, it comes to 120 hours. The worker will not come to office. So deduct it 2,280. After attending the office also, there is 10% normal idle time. The worker will not continuously work for 8 hours. During these 8 hours, there will be tea break, lunch break, other personal works. So that will be deducted. 10% of 2,280, 228 will be the normal idle time. The effective number of hours per annum is 2,052. So effectively a worker will work for 2,052 hours in the year. Now ultimately we have to calculate what is the labor cost per hour. एक घंटे को कितना होगा? तो labor cost per hour, total labor cost per annum divided by effective number of working hours per annum. So 7,248 rupees divided by 2,052 hours will get per hour 3.53. This is the labor cost per hour. That's all. This is the end of problem number 14. Now see the problem number 15. From the following data, calculate the total monthly remuneration of 3 workers. Total monthly remuneration of 3 workers. X, Y, Z. Standard production per month per worker is 1,000 units. So standard production means the production which is required, expected by the management is 1,000 units per worker. Actual production during the month X 800 units, Y 700 units, Z 900 units. So these are the actual production made by the 3 workers X, Y, Z. And all the 3 workers have produced less than standard. Standard 1000A, but X has produced only 800, Y 700, Z 900. Piece rate per unit of actual production is 15 paisa. So whatever is the actual production, per unit piece rate is 15 paisa. So we multiply 0.15 into number of units produced. Then DA 40 rupees per month. So every worker will be paid 40 rupees per month DA. And house rent allowance 20 rupees per month fixed, every worker. Additional production bonus at the rate of 5 rupees for each percentage of actual production exceeding 75% of actual production over standard. So bonus will be paid at the rate of 5 rupees for every 1% extra production in excess of 75% of standard production. 75% of standard production. तो अगर कोई 75% ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड प्रोडक्शन से ज्यादा बनाएगा तो उसको बोनस मिलेगा. फॉर एवरी 1% 5 rupees will be paid. Now see here. Calculation of wages of XYZ. Actual production in units. 800 units are produced by X, 700 by Y, 900 by Z. Now percentage of actual production over standard. Standard production are 1000 units. Standard are 1000. But X has produced 800. So 800 by 1000 into 100, you will get 80%. That means X worker has produced 80% of standard. Y 700 divided by 1000 into 100, 70%. Z 900 divided by 1000 into 100, 90%. तो percentage basis पे देखेंगे तो X has produced 80%, Y has produced 70% of standard, and Z has produced 90% of standard, right? Now, excess percentage over 75% of standard. So bonus will be paid only when the worker has produced more than 75% of standard. 75% से ज़्यादा अगर produce करेंगे तो bonus मिलेगा. अब यहाँ पर X worker has produced 80%. तो how much excess percent over 75? 5%. 75% तक कोई बोनस नहीं है. Bonus will be paid if he produces more than 75. So how much excess he has produced? 5% excess. Why? Y will not get any bonus because it is less than 75%. His actual production is less than 75%. Only 70% he has produced. So no bonus will be given to Y. Z has produced 90%. Yes, he will be paid. Because he has produced more than 75%. More than 75%. So how much is the excess? 15%. 90 minus 75. 15% excess he has made. Right? Now, normal wages at the rate of 15 paisa per unit. Normal wages 15 paisa per unit. How much actual number of units? 800. So 800 into 0.15, 120. 700 into 0.15, 105. Then 900 into 0.15, 135. These are the normal wages for actual output at 15 paisa. Bonus will be paid 5 rupees for every 1% extra. So how much extra he has produced? 5%. So for every 1%, 5 rupees. So 5 into 5. 25 rupees bonus will be paid to X worker. Y worker will not get any bonus. Z worker will get the bonus. Z worker will get the bonus. 5 rupees for excess. Excess how much he has produced? 15. So 15 into 5. 75 rupees bonus. Z worker will get. Apart from the dearness allowance, 40 rupees fixed for all the workers. HRA 20 rupees fixed for all the workers. Then the total amount of wages will be 205 for X, 165 for Y, 270 for Z. So this is the end of 15 problems. So far we have completed. Only few more problems are left, that we'll do it in the next video. So if you are satisfied with my lecture, with my explanation, give a like to the video. Share it in your group, in your friends. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe my channel. And one more thing, give the comment about your understanding, whether you can be able to understand or not. Give the comment. So again, we'll meet in the next video for the next problem.